let's go and let's say, let's start with you, Marianne. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I have been a VIPKid teacher for the last 2 years. Actually, it'll be 2 years in June. And I have taught 3,700 classes with VIPKid. So used to online learning, but a few months ago, I really just began to feel like I wanted to add another company to VIPKid. I've stayed fully booked for these 2 years that I've worked with VIPKid, but I don't know, I just kind of got to thinking I've got all my eggs in one basket, so to speak. Yes. And I really think that it might be wise to add another company, but I didn't want to add another ESL company because my ESL working hours were already booked. There was no adding any more hours to what I was already doing with that Beijing time zone. So when someone shared Outschool with me, I knew that was the direction I wanted to go for sure. So I just got hired with Outschool, I think 2 weeks ago, and I've taught 5 classes so far.
Yay! That's great. Good.
I'm hooked. I am hooked for sure.
Well, I am hooked too. And I decided to do Outschool because I am moving from the East Coast to Denver, Colorado, and I will be on a mountain time zone. So guess what that means with Beijing time zone? That means
you start at 2.
That means even earlier hours. So I was like, I don't know if this old lady can do that. I just don't know if I can get up. Because my typical VIPKid hours, because I work with VIPKid as well, I am moving from the East Coast to Denver, Colorado. I hear something completely different. Hold on. Can you hear me, Mary?
Yeah, I can hear you. I had to mute myself on YouTube though.
Okay.
So I'm only listening to the Zoom audio.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I think we're still going. Guys, please bear with us. We are learning. This is a learning curve. So we will do that. But I teach typically now from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Well, you know what that means. That means I would be teaching 3 a.m. And I just don't think I can do that. So I signed up and I have taught now about 10 Outschool classes. And
well,
I love it too. It's just something different. I don't plan to give up completely VIPKid because I do love that and I love my kids. But I love the capability for myself because I'm going to be an empty nester to be able to work outside of those hours and still work from home and to really kind of teach things that I really want and enjoy teaching.
Yes, for sure. I feel the same way. I'm going to stick with VIPKid. I have condensed my hours from 50 classes a week to 30 classes a week with VIPKid. But definitely, I do appreciate being able to roll out of bed and just show up and make some money. And so I don't want that to go away. But Outschool also adds that, lets you, especially if you do have a teaching background, you desire to create those classes and courses and teach those things that you love. And even if you don't have a teaching background, there are things that you are passionate about and that you want to share, things that you love that kind of gives you that creative outlet. So for sure.
And you hit the nail on the head, I think, there for me too. And even if you're not a teacher, I'm a teacher by trade too. And I realized I actually missed planning a little bit. I missed the group interaction a little bit. But some of the people that I've been talking to that aren't teachers, just what they're passionate about in teaching is coming through. And they get excited about thinking about what they're going to teach.
Yes.
And I think that's been really helpful too. But maybe we should back up just a little bit, just in case, because we do have some people in our chat. Thank you guys for joining us. And it looks like we've got some other people that have signed up, so that's terrific. For those that are not familiar with Outschool, Marianne, let's talk a little bit about, tell us what Outschool is in your words.
Okay, so Outschool is a company that basically connects independent teachers with students in the online setting. So Outschool uses Zoom video chat for teachers to teach their courses, and it was founded in 2015, so it has been around for 5 years. It's just been brought to the forefront of everybody's attention because everybody is social learning or social distancing and distance learning right now. So what's really cool is in the beginning of this year, Outschool had on their website that they had 1,000 teachers at the beginning of 2020, and at that time 80,000 students had come through their system, you know, in the past 5 years. Well, they had kind of put out an all call around March of this year. We need 5,000 teachers ASAP to handle the load of distance learners that are signing up for class. So, so that's why we're all just kind of hearing about it, because it's just such a great opportunity. But they do provide you with a website. They have a website and they provide you with a class link, and you just go into your classroom and you click on a button to enter your classroom to teach your class, and you don't have to pay for a Zoom account or anything like that. They take care of that all on their end. But basically, it's just a company that offers online classes from independent teachers via Zoom.
And I love how you said that. An analogy that I used with a teacher that was asking me, or a person that was asking me about it, I said, it's sort of like when you went to, say you went to college and you got, back when I went to college, you actually got a book that had all the classes in it that this college offered. And you got to scroll through there and look and see which ones you wanted to take. And that's kind of how I described Outschool. So it's taught by all different teachers, all different topics. And Outschool's the platform that these teachers are using to deliver their classes.
Yes, yes.
And there's so many. I was telling somebody, I said, I really wish I could take some of these classes.
Yes, yes, for sure. And well, Paige, do you want to tell us about like who can teach on the platform? Because it's kind of different from our ESL online teaching.
Yes. So for those of you that are on for VIPKid or know anything about VIPKid, and if you don't know anything about VIPKid, then do some research. Look under Marianne's web or your YouTube channel or my YouTube channel as well. But with VIPKid, you have to have a college degree, not necessarily a teaching degree, but a college degree. But with Outschool, you do not have to have a degree. Outschool believes that a lot of people can teach what they are passionate about, what they enjoy, and bring that love and excitement to the classroom. You do have to be 18 years old to teach at Outschool. You also have to be a U.S. citizen, or I'm looking at my notes, a Canadian citizen, an Australian, from Australia, New Zealand, or the UK. So currently, those are the countries that they are hiring people from. But I will say that I have I call her my niece. She's not really my niece. She's 18 years old, and she just submitted her application to teach TikTok dances to kids. And she's a cheerleader. She's a music theatrical major. I think she'll be terrific. I'm hoping she gets.
Oh, how fun.
So
I know that I want to take some of these classes.
Yes. Yeah. I think it would be a lot of fun to do that. So talking about that, Marianne, and like I just said, she's teaching a TikTok class, hopefully. What kind of classes can you teach?
So I think that is the beauty of Outschool too, is that you can literally teach pretty much whatever you want. Now, there are a few restrictions based on what Outschool will call sensitive topics. And so if there are sensitive topics such as mental health or some things to do with the medical field, you will have to show your qualifications and your certifications as to why you are an expert in those areas. But for everything else, I think like the supernatural and pseudoscience and things like that fall under that category. But for everything else, you pretty much teach your passion, or you teach what you love. You can teach core subjects. You can teach elective type classes. You can teach outside in a horse field. You can take your kids on a virtual field trip. You can do science experiments. You can be in your kitchen cooking or baking, and you can do makeup tutorials. I saw some classes for my 14-year-old, how to fix teenage hair, how to do fancy fingernail designs. You literally just, whatever you want to teach, whatever you love to teach, whatever you love to do that you would like to share with learners. The sky is really the limit. And so I just think that is so exciting, because, oh my goodness, can you imagine, like, if I were school age,
Oh,
being able to have this at my fingertips, just to be able to take those things that I was so interested in. I love it. The concept, I believe, is brilliant.
I think it's brilliant too. And I will tell you, so my youngest son is 18, and I was telling him about it because he has a lot of great passions. And I said, you know what? A lot of young boys would love to learn, different techniques of fly fishing or things like that as well. And he says, Mom, they can just watch YouTube. And I said, but honey, you don't get any interaction with YouTube. You don't get to ask questions. And that's why I think this platform is such a terrific platform for learners, because yes, you can do a lot of learning on YouTube, but you don't get to ask questions. You don't have that expert that you can just say, hey, this is my question, and you get it answered right away.
That's exactly right. And you get to actually demonstrate a skill and have that direct immediate feedback from that teacher, which that goes into our next question. How are classes taught on Outschool?
So I was thinking about this. So they are taught through the Zoom platform, and Marianne did a very good job in the beginning of talking about that. Outschool has a nice little teacher portal that teachers, you have access to, and you go in that teacher portal, it opens up Zoom, so you do not have to have Zoom, and it allows you to interact through the Zoom platform. What is kind of cool about that as well, though, is you can have a PowerPoint up there. You can use different, like Google Slides, different things through the Zoom to also teach your classes. But the portal that I have found, Marianne, I hope you have too, I've found the portal and using all of that very, very easy.
Yes, very user-friendly.
The one thing I love about it, and if you're a VIPKid teacher, you'll understand this, you actually have direct communication with the parents. So not just a one-sided conversation, you can email back and forth with the parents and with your students. And I love that for rapport building and getting your kids excited about the class, or after class following up with them. I know one person asked me, do you have to provide feedback? And I provide a certain amount of feedback, like, thank you for taking my class. Here's some of the things, a specific thing about a student, but not the same type of feedback you would provide at VIPKid.
Yes, and your pay doesn't depend on whether you leave feedback or not.
No, it doesn't. You're not deducted anything. You don't provide feedback. So I think that's great. And the opportunity to deliver one-time class. So that's all I have developed right now, is a one-time class. So I developed it, and I can teach that same thing over and over again. So when people ask about, developing the curriculum, well, guess what? It's just like when you teach a kindergarten class. You teach that same thing year after year after year after year. But Outschool, you can teach that same class over and over and over again to a different group of kids.
Yes, I love that too, and I feel like that's one of the beauties of this platform too, is that you put in more work, I think, on the front end, depending on how many courses you want to have approved. But then once that front end work is done, you just get to enjoy having that created and just keep creating new sections for that course. So I love that too.
And we'll talk about new sections for that too. But I wanted to share real quick. So there's ongoing, and Marianne, you may have to correct me. There's one time, there's ongoing. So that would be if you're teaching a specific maybe skill set, and you're going to cover something today, something tomorrow, but people can jump in the middle of it. And then
Yeah.
there's the camp style where it's offered and you pay all at once.
Yeah, right. Right. And yes.
And then the flex, which is where you actually have recorded videos and they go in and they watch the videos and you interact through conversation, not actually Zoom platform.
Right, right. And
What
then
are you?
I'm sorry, Paige. Yes, you go ahead.
No, what kind of classes are you teaching, Marianne?
Okay, so I am doing, started off with just one-time classes, and I have an ongoing class that starts Monday, and I have it for 3 different times on Mondays and Thursdays, and yeah, so it will meet every Monday and every Thursday for the month of June, and it's a phonics class, beginning reading, sounding out CVC words. So
Awesome.
that one seems to be gaining a lot of interest. I've got 5 classes uploaded right now, and 2 have the most saves, and it's the phonics and punctuation station, which teaching, end marks. So yeah, those 2 seem to be gaining the most popularity for me right now, but I do have a little story time one too that I've taught a few times, and it's my favorite, actually. I wish everybody would just book that one for a while because I love teaching that one.
I do story time too, and I've actually just had a couple others that have been approved that I'm going to be adding to. My move process is kind of in the process. So the other thing I may be jumping around that I will tell you that I love is that I can, I can teach this class when I want to teach it. I'm not limited to Beijing hours. I could decide that I wanted to teach one of my storytime classes tomorrow at 1:00 and I can put it on their calendar.
Yes.
And I think that's an awesome thing. And I've tried that. I'm playing around still to see what are the best times for my classes to get the most bookings. And so I'm putting it on different days and times really just to get a feel for it. But I love that flexibility of being able to just, teach it when I want to teach it. And if I don't ever want to teach that class again, guess what? I don't ever have to teach that class again.
Yes, that's right. I love that too. It's just, there's just so much freedom here.
Yes. So that goes into, I guess, the next question. When can you teach? And I've heard, and I don't know if you've heard, Marianne, I have heard that some teachers are teaching the early hours like they would at VIPKid because this is an international platform. So kids all over the world, as long as they are English speaking or understand English, can hop on and take these classes.
Right, right. I think I read on their website that their typical class hours are anywhere from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't schedule a class outside of that. Yeah, just for reasons that you just said. So for sure.
So I think that's where toying around with that, is going to be a way for you to figure out what works best for the classes that you're offering as we're, talking about that too. So Marianne, let's talk a little bit, because I know if you're interested in Outschool and you're interested in teaching, most of us don't like to work for free. So although I feel like I'm getting paid to have so much fun. So tell us a little bit about how does the pay work?
I think the pay is probably one of the most exciting things about this company because, and I do want to put out there, I, again, am so very thankful that I can roll out of bed and make good money every morning with VIPKid. So I definitely want to state that. But then there's also this huge opportunity with Outschool. So just to kind of give a side-by-side comparison, so with VIPKid, let's say that you make $10 for every 30 minutes with VIPKid, and that is a one-on-one class. So your potential cannot go higher than $10 for that one 30-minute class. But with Outschool, because it's open to as many students, as many learners as you will allow to enroll in that class, up to, I think, I think live classes is capped at 18 learners. And then it goes down. They suggest for the lower ages, they suggest, I think for 4 to 7 year, they suggest no more than 6 learners in a class. And then maybe 8 to 13, they suggest, 7 or 8 learners for a class. They've got different guidelines that kind of help you know how many should I open this up to, which is good. They walk you through those steps as you're creating a course. But if you've got a 30-minute, let's say I'm teaching, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, and I have a course for 30 minutes, and I charge $10 per student for that course, and it gets fully booked at 10 students, then that class has just collected $100 for 30 minutes. And Outschool will get 30% of your pay. Because they do advertise, and we're on their platform. They're the ones connecting us with all of these motivated learners. We're not trying to go sell our courses. This platform is filled with learners who are seeking out classes to take, which
all
is
over
a
the
beautiful
world.
thing. It's amazing, right? They want your services. So after we give Outschool that 30%, then if that were me, I still would make $70 in 30 minutes. So just as a comparison, 30 minutes with VIPKid, $10, 30 minutes with Outschool, $70. And it's teaching something you love and you created and you want to teach. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how many 30-minute classes can I do on Monday? And so that's $140 that you profit per hour. Yes. Versus $20 per hour with VIPKid. So definitely don't go in there with the expectations that you're going to be making $140 per hour as soon as you hire on with Outschool, because just like VIPKid, parents have to find you, and parents have to find who their learners connect with, and that's another thing that I love about Outschool is they encourage you to be you, and don't try to copy or be someone else's personality, because they have students who need your personality. Mm-hmm. And so just go in there knowing that, it may be a patience game in the beginning until people find you, but once you start getting those reviews, you'll start getting booked, and the potential is so huge. I believe. I'm really excited about it.
I am so excited about it too. And, when I was saying, we don't like to work for free, I do feel like I'm just having so much fun. And yes. When I figured out how much I made in my first class, because I will tell you, and this is stepping out of line a little bit too. So my first class was filled with mostly people that I knew, and they used a referral code. But guess what? I still got paid for every one of those students, even though they used a referral code. So I had 6 students in my first class at $10. So that's $60 for that 30-minute class. So I was doing $35 for a half hour. I think if I did the math right there. Or $42. But yeah. I was like, wow. I mean, I'm a teacher. I can promise you, I never made $70 a half hour, $70 an hour teaching.
Right. And Paige, do you want to, what is that referral code, that you just mentioned?
Okay, so there are 2 referral codes. This is great. So if you sign on to Outschool, you can use, if you want to be a parent of learners, there is a $20 code that you can give to other learners to try out Outschool classes for their very first time, which is great. That is, I will tell you, it's a little confusing for some parents. So the $20 credit is allowed to be used for one class, whether that class is $5 or that class is $20. You can use a one-time credit. You do sign up for the class, but then they refund you back your money. So I sent a bunch of my friends that had kids in the age group that I was teaching this link, and they all signed on, and they took my class, and they were all credited back their first fee. I will tell you though, that's a great marketing tool for Outschool, because guess what? Every one of them have signed up for more classes, not that's my classes, but more classes. So it's a great way to fill your class. And then the other thing, guys, that is really nice is Outschool has a wonderful teacher referral program. So if you refer a teacher and they use your link to sign up, your referral link, you will get a referral link when you sign up. You get $200 referral bonus after they've made their first $100. So it's amazing, and they need teachers. So it's a really great opportunity as far as the income from teaching, Marianne, and from the income from referring other teachers to do something that they love.
Yes, I love that. And I've heard in different Facebook groups, and even seen some videos on YouTube about this. And so we may want to clarify that when someone signs up to, even if you just enter in your email and you sign up through someone's link, not with the intention of them being your referring teacher, but just with the intention of maybe looking around on Outschool or looking for classes for your kids, whatever link you use to sign up with initially to get into the system, that is the person that's going to be considered your referring teacher, even if that's not who actually helped you get hired. So just to clarify, you definitely Outschool has been on my end, and I've heard from several other teachers, they've been really good about, you just send them an email and say, hey, I want to clarify that this person is my referring teacher. This person is the one that helped me get hired. I didn't realize that when I was signing in that link 4 months ago to just kind of look and see what Outschool was all about, that's the person that would get my referral bonus if I actually ended up becoming a teacher. Yes. I definitely feel like since they've had this huge influx of teachers, they will separate those links in the future. I feel like that's got to be coming, but for now, however you get into the platform is kind of who's connected as your referring teacher, even if you sign up to teach, months later, because someone else helped you get hired. So just an important note. And I actually watched a video on this on YouTube, and I wish I could remember the name of it, because I would tell you to go watch that video, but maybe I can post it in the comments later
for the video. Yes.
Yeah, after the video. It's not letting me do anything. The YouTube is showing frozen on my end, so I'm not sure.
It did on my end too, but I can see us now, so I think we're good. If y'all will give us a thumbs up, that you can still see us and hear us in the chat, that would be great. And I'll read some of these chat questions off. Teach and Reach, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for all of you all being here. She says, I have parents in the UK and Australia messaging me asking for other time slots for dog training classes. So she's doing dog training classes. That's awesome.
Cool.
How great is it to have a class to teach your children what they're supposed to do with the dog that they wanted? So it's awesome to do. And she says she's not doing any overnight classes anymore. It does take a toll on you eventually. I'm so grateful for VIPKid and opportunities and the people that I've met working through VIPKid. And like I said, I'm not stopping. I will still keep some of my students at VIPKid. Some of the other questions in here are during the daytime, so the teachers doing during the daytime. How long did it take to get approved after you submitted your application and demo? Marianne, when did that take you?
So after I submitted my application and video, I think it was 3 days later. But I think since then so the application and video, that took about 3 days, and then my background took 7 days. Some have their background check take even longer, 9 days, 11 days. But I have heard that it's taking longer, maybe 5 days. And then if there's a weekend in there, it may take 7 or 8 days to hear back now, just because they're so busy and that they've hired temporary staff to help them go through all of these applications. And so it's just taking some time to filter it out, because they are just swarmed with teachers that now want to teach on the platform.
Yes.
So.
And mine took basically, I will say, it was end of April, 1st of May when I turned mine in. So I think I was a little bit before some of the new teachers that are coming in. I actually applied on a Friday, I think. I was approved. Everything was approved. I actually got my approval like Tuesday. I had my first class approved the following Sunday, and I actually taught my first class the very next day. Because I'm one of those,
Wow.
I was so nervous to get started. I thought, I'm just diving in, I'm doing it. So I just jumped in
Yeah,
there.
just jump in, don't look.
Yeah, just jump
Yes.
in and don't look. I'm like, okay, they're little kids. I can't mess up too bad. Let's do this. And it went really well. So that was one of the questions. How long did it take? There are some things in here too about the referrals, that they are being a little bit more sticky here. So I was just trying to think here.
I'm glad you're reading that. I can't see any of the chat, so.
And I think, Holly, I think you've missed Nancy's VIP Live. I think it was already happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep teaching on that. So some more questions that I had here. I wanted to ask this too. So let's just say, once you've actually decided you want to apply, what does that look like, Miriam?
Okay, so basically it's just a basic information application that you put in first, and then you will basically submit a video, and it's got to be 30 to 90 seconds.
Make sure it's 30 to 90 seconds or it won't go through.
It will not load, yes, if it's out of that range. But so my video, I actually did not understand this as I was getting hired. I could not find a solid answer on, is this video I'm uploading for my application the same video that parents are going to see? And I didn't know that. I didn't have a clear answer. I now know that it's two separate videos. However, I didn't know that at the time. So I did my video between VIPKid classes one morning, and I just made it to where if parents see it, it's good. If Outschool sees it, it's good. I just kind of made it general, and I used the same video for my application process. And then when you get to your teacher profile after you've been approved, I just use that same video again. But you just basically fill out a basic application. You need to in that application, you do need to express why you would be a good fit for Outschool. They don't require a degree, obviously, but why would you be a good fit on their platform? What is your passion? What are you excited to teach? What is your background in that area? Have you worked with kids in the past, and in what capacity? So they just want to know why you would be a good fit. And then that video on your application, I believe, is just to kind of get a sense of your personality,
yes,
a sense of your teaching presence, whatever, just to kind of see if you would be a good fit there. But that's basically.
You speak correct English, I think, is a good, you're going to be teaching, so make sure you're using proper English.
Right. All of those things. And but the application process, if you are a former or current VIPKid teacher, just for comparison, I always tell my VIPKid referrals, the application process is the hardest part about this job. Once you're hired, you're golden. Nothing else will be as hard as getting hired. And it's just because they just have to be, because they've got 100,000 teachers on their platform, and they can afford to be as picky as they choose. However, with Outschool, I just found it was the most pleasant surprise that it was such an easy breezy application process. You literally just, fill out the application, and you list the courses that you would want to teach. And I just kind of, even though it's good to have a niche, it's good to be an expert in an area, I also suggest kind of leaving it open-ended, or leaving it broad enough that you can add other content to your, repertoire,
yes,
if you are approved.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, I would say the one thing I would say with that too is, and then you do actually have, there is a slot where you will put your education and they do ask for dates. So, try and get your dates good on that too, because that may be checked in your background a little bit, but the dates that are on there. And I did the same. I put a little bit of variety in the classes that I wanted to teach because I've taught anything from preschool to adults. And some of my passions are the preschool, the elementary. I love reading and teach everything that goes along with reading. But I also taught study skills for years and years, and budgeting and finance for kids or teenagers as well. So I'm really hoping to dive into that. I just didn't want them to think, oh, well, she's a preschool teacher, or, she teaches preschool, but she does this too. So I did put that out there. So I hope that I'll get to teach some of those older students.
Oh, yes. I can imagine those classes would be super popular, especially for parents of teens, which I am one of those as well.
Yeah,
got a preschooler and a teen.
And most teenagers today don't understand money. They think it's all on this little plastic thing.
That's it. Right. A 5-year-old doesn't understand that.
So, yes, once you get the application processed, then you're going to get a letter or an email. And I will tell you, their email correspondence is spot on. It is great. They have great correspondence that they are going to process your background, or you'll fill out a background check. I was told the reason some backgrounds come back like in 20 seconds and some come back, it's some of that has to do with coronavirus, I was told, in different states and the ability to get the background check in certain states. So some states are a little longer than other states, depending on where you are. Mine took about 24 hours. I know Marianne said hers. I know somebody it's took like 12 days.
And
then mine
took
20 seconds. And I'm like, what did you do?
I think too, I've heard that if you've traveled, if you've moved in a lot of different places, that really affects it because they have to verify things in a lot of different states or cities. So,
definitely. So then once your background is approved, hopefully your background is going to be approved, then you're allowed to submit your first class request. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, Marianne?
Sure. So, you're going to basically, if I need to pull up the screen, but I don't want my internet to lag if I pull up the screen. So I'm going to try to just remember from memory. But basically,
when you need some help.
Okay. So when you submit a course, there's a place for the title of your course. And this title, it's can be a catchy title to grab attention, but it also needs to explain what the course is about. And so they also give you some pointers in there, like don't use emojis in your title, and don't use 4 exclamation points in your title. Just kind of let it be straightforward, but grab attention. So for instance, one of my titles is Punctuation Station, learning or improving sentence writing by learning in marks, or something like that. So punctuation station is the catchy part, but then I follow it up with, here's exactly what this class is. So there's your title, and then right under that title, I believe, is a summary, like a 1-line summary where you kind of give, in this course or in this class, we will da 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 da, and you're just going to list out what kind of the goal for the class is. Here's what learners will do in this class. And then you have, you get to select your age group. They do ask that the age gap is no more than 5 years. And what I found is parents really, unless they're teenagers, and even teenagers, they really don't even like a 5-year age gap. Just what I've found, especially like littles, they would prefer, if they've got a 4-year-old, you don't want a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old in your class. So I just say, be sensitive to age, gaps and variations. Even they do allow for you to have a 5-year age gap in there. That's a big age gap, no matter where you are, from preschool to high school.
And Marianne, what I did, just real quick, and this is what others can do, if you want to teach that to another age group, then you just create a whole nother class for that. I mean, not a whole nother class. It's basically the same thing. All you do is change the ages that you're delivering it to.
Yes,
So
edit.
it's
Yes.
super easy to do, because I did, and once you teach, you'll get a more of a feel for, you're like, yeah, that age group might not have worked well together. So then you can just offer it to another, or open it up to a different age group.
I actually have the punctuation station, and I actually added to my title. I made 2 different classes and added to my title punctuation station 5 to 7-year-olds, and then a punctuation station 7 to 9-year-olds. And so that's worked well too, not to have those 5 and 9-year-olds in the same class, because they can obviously do, their skill level is pretty far apart right there.
Yes.
But so then you would choose your ages, and you would choose the number of learners that you would enroll or you will accept in that class. And then you give a description of the class. And this description, class description, now I have had 5 or 6 classes I've sent in and for approval, and they've all been approved on the first time. But I will say that you have to follow what their instructions for the title. Like, the title has to be in title case. If you don't know what title case is, it's just like the title of a book. When you see the title of a book, every important word is capitalized, basically. It's got to be in title case. You've got to give a very detailed class description, and they will tell you the more detailed your class description is, the more likely you are to get students enrolled in that class, because parents want to know exactly what you're going to do. So you'll give a class description. It's basically where you write kind of like a paragraph of, first we'll do this, next we'll do this, then we'll do this, and you let the parents know exactly what to expect. And then just a side note, be sure you stick to that. So on my, for instance, this is one of my lessons, Dear Zoo. We use Dear Zoo, and this is my learning through story time animal adjectives. And so I forgot I had this printed off. So you give a description of the class. And then in that one-line summary, I just put, in this class, students will listen to a story about zoo animals and have fun identifying and acting out adjectives. And then I give that class description and tell exactly what we're going to do. Students will be introduced to adjectives as we read the storybook Dear Zoo. On the first reading, I'll do this. On the second reading, we'll do this. Finally, we'll do this. And so just really having it that detailed so parents know what to expect. I found I haven't had any problems with getting classes approved just following those guidelines, but they are strict on those guidelines, and they will say it's very common for classes to be sent back the first time they're submitted because, you know, maybe something wasn't capitalized that should have been. But they just, we have to remember that they're advertising what we're putting out there. So
in a sense, it's representing them. Yes.
Right. They need your advertisement to look professional.
Yes.
Yes. So, but yeah, that is, and that I think is pretty much. Then there's a after your class description, again, there's a little tab where you can put learning goals. What are your goals for the student? And then the goals, and then the class, that one-line class summary under the title, those really are pretty much the same thing for me. And then there's a tab where you can put supplies, any supplies that the students might need to bring to class, or do they need to do any work ahead of time if it's an older class and you want them to go ahead and read chapter 1 of this book before you meet. You can put that in there. You can upload a file so that they can print out a worksheet so that you can work through that together in class. So yeah, just there's a lot of options, but the site is very, very user friendly, and it will walk you through every step. Yeah.
It definitely walks you through every step, and it's really, really, it is very self-explanatory. There was a question in here that says, what are the best times to teach? This is my biggest issue. Okay, so we already kind of went on that one. Let's see.
And Paige, we might want to mention there is a place on the website where once you schedule, like if you go under your tab to add sections of a class that has been approved, there's a little button you can push to look at the time zones that are getting booked most often, or not time zones, but times that classes are getting booked, and you can look at it in your time zone. So that's helpful too.
That is. So they give you a lot of resources. I will say I did email them the support to ask them the question, do they have a breakdown for age and time of classes being taken, or those kind of things? And they said no, their data didn't go that deep right now, but they would like to be able to give teachers more of an idea.
That's a good question.
When that would happen. So Valerie says she is not an educator by training. She knows she can create a great class, but what would you ladies recommend in terms of building the curriculum? So it's really just a lesson plan, and coming up with your lesson plan, and just, and then using that lesson plan over and over again. And there's, today as a teacher, you have so many resources and so many different great ideas. Right. What would you say, Miriam?
And then I would yes, for sure what you said. And then if it's an ongoing class, just make sure that even though the classes don't build on each other, do have different content for every class, because you more than likely will have the same learners every week in your ongoing classes. Some may drop in, some may drop out, but definitely they don't build on each other, but have different content. And I just say there's such a variety of resources. I know teachers show YouTube videos and clips. They don't like videos to be lengthy because the point of the class is this interaction with the teacher. Yes. But clips of videos, or they'll show a certain website, or I use the interactive whiteboard a lot in my in my adjective classes for the kind of like 8 to 12-year-olds. We use the interactive whiteboard. But what I did, because I was kind of overwhelmed, I knew that I would teach everything reading and language arts from preschool to high school. So that's kind of my tagline. Preschool to high school reading and language arts teacher is like my teacher description in Outschool. But I started with, I just sat down one day and brainstormed every idea I had. And then I thought, what would be maybe the easiest and most comfortable for me to create now, so that I can just go ahead and dive in and get started and get some classes under my belt. So I went that route. And then, so I'm kind of starting with my littles and working my way up to the high school level in course creation. But I mean, I know we all have our system of writing our lesson plans. Some teachers can go into a class and they just kind of have an idea of what they're going to do, and it can be an amazing class. And if you're OCD like me, you have to type out every word you think you're going to say for every minute of the class. And so I really I kind of just plan out like a very detailed lesson plan for every class. I would just say also make sure your lesson plan totally matches the class description. Yes. And I think that's one reason I feel like compelled to write it out, what we're going to do in class. So I do stay on task that class description is matched, because you don't want to risk bad parent feedback because they read that the class was going to be this in the description, and in actuality you did something a little different that they weren't expecting.
There was another question in here, and Tammy, since you're still in the chat, we'll answer this. So questions about Zoom. When playing music or reading a book, does it show through Zoom? Sound come through? So when I read my book, I just hold my book up like this when I'm reading it, and so they see it. The sound comes through whatever you're using. Like right now, my sound's coming through my computer. Marianne's sound's coming through her headphones to the student. So if you've been on any type of Zoom platform, it works the exact same. I mean, it is Zoom. It's you're just getting to it through the other, through the Outschool platform.
Yes.
We have been on here a while, so Marianne, let's kind of wrap up. And we talked about in a week or so, we will do more of a Zoom, maybe 201. Where we can talk about our experiences in the classroom. So I think that would be good. But you said something that I wanted to share, especially because I think several of the teachers on here are VIP Kid teachers. Tell them a little bit about the stars that you get.
Oh, like the reviews?
Yes, the reviews.
Okay, yes. So the 5 stars is the best that you can get. So just kind of like VIPKid, 5 apples. However, what I'm hearing from Outschool is, you know how if you're a VIP Kid teacher, you kind of stress about having anything less than a 5-star review, and it's not that way necessarily with Outschool. A 4-star review is really good. Even a 3-star review is not frowned upon. It's just yeah, but once you get those 5-star reviews under your belt, I only have 3 so far. I've taught 5 classes, only have 3 reviews. it Once you get those reviews, that's when it's just like if I were looking for a class for one of my children, I'm going to look to see if a teacher's been reviewed. That's going to be one of the first things that I'm going to look to see. So they are important. I teach to a class of 1 as if I had 10 in that class. I have the same energy level and we have the same amount of fun, and I bring it home for that one person because I am working hard for those 5 stars because I want to build those up, hopefully. But at the same time, don't stress if you get a 3 or 4-star review, because it isn't the same. It's not frowned upon where we kind of do frown upon it in the VIP Kid world. I think a lot of times too, we put that pressure on ourselves. Sometimes out of 3,700 classes, every one of them just cannot be 5 stars.
No,
and that is okay.
Not real. That is not real life.
That's right. You are not 5-star every morning, but you certainly try to be. So
one thing I wanted to say about the stars, someone said, oh, do you get ranked that way? Like, VIP Kid, you might get ranked based on your stars, or how do you get found? The great thing is, if you were to go on to Outschool right now and you were to just look at the classes, the next class you would see that pops up is one that starts at 11:30 today. That's how they're shown on there. They're not shown based on who has the most stars or what, the most popular classes. It's fed to you based on the next class that is coming up. The other great thing is, Mary Ann mentioned this, is when parents are looking through there, maybe they can't take your class today, they can put a little star by it, like I do when I'm shopping on the internet. I put a little star by it and it saves it for them. And when she or I decide to open up another time slot for that, Outschool alerts that family, oh, there's a new time slot for that class.
Yes.
They can like your profile and follow you for when different classes. So Outschool markets to them that way too. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that's going on that I'm more than happy to give them my 30% for. So,
no doubt.
yes.
No doubt about it. Yes.
For sure. So I wanted to share that. And you can search classes. If you're interested, I would tell you that's one of the first things that I did. I don't have any young children anymore, but I went in there and I typed in different things. I read different profiles. I read about different classes. And it just, kind of jogged my brain and going, oh, yeah, that would be great. Or, I could do it this way. Because there's not a one size fits all. Delivering it in all different ways is one of the beautiful things I think about Outschool.
Yes, and they actually encourage, hey, don't worry if you see 10 other classes that are similar to this or teaching this same concept. What we really value is the different personalities and teaching styles, because there are so many kids who are going to connect with those different personalities. They want to be able to offer the same skill from different teaching styles and different personalities. So I love that too. Sure.
I love that too. And I did, maybe we can kind of end on this question, because this was a big question. Someone said to me, well, do you think this momentum is going to continue with Outschool? I have to say the same thing. If you're a VIP Kid teacher, we don't know. I mean, VIP Kid, the China economy was hit pretty hard as well. Our kids going to go back to school and there may not be as many kids on the platform. Outschool was used by a lot of kids prior to coronavirus, but a lot of kids have jumped onto the program. Will our kids go back to school in the fall? What will that look like? So I wouldn't put that as a thing that prevents you from signing up for Outschool. I also think this summer, someone said, are there going to be the same amount? I can promise you, if I had young kids, I would still be looking for educational outlets for my students this summer, because I know they didn't get it in the spring. And
Sure.
so I think that you're going to see a lot of people jumping on and doing that. They can sit at home. They don't have to drive anywhere. And from what I've heard, the kids that do this, they're getting to choose to do what they want, and they love it. So it's not like you're dragging them to go, come on, you got to go to
Right.
class. They get excited, and it makes learning fun for them. So don't let that deter you if you're thinking about, oh, this might be, short-lived. It might be short-lived, but it might be something that keeps on going. I think Outschool is going to find a way to weave this.
For sure. I think they're just doing everything they can to expand and keep the momentum. And I was even watching some videos back from 2017 from an Outschool teacher who was saying, I can't believe more teachers don't know about this. I'm
Yes.
trying to get the word out. And that was back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if anything, this is just going to, this is just the most amazing advertisement Outschool could have asked for.
Yes.
Even though nobody asked for COVID-19, this was just a very positive thing that did come out of it, because now so many people are aware that didn't even know Outschool existed. So whether you're public, private, homeschooler, unschooler, whatever you are,
Yes.
you know that there is a class for you at any time. So I just only see it. I don't see that we're going to be out of work with Outschool anytime in the near future.
Because just like you were saying, or just like you're offering a punctuation class, well, maybe your third grader is struggling at school with punctuation. Guess what? You don't have to go find a tutor. You sign up on Outschool and you've got your tutor right there.
That's it.
So I see it. So I would encourage everybody, even if you don't sign up to be an Outschool teacher, share it on your social media with your friends that this is available for their kids to take classes, because it is a wonderful platform. And like I was telling you, you get your first class for free. So why not try it out and get your kids excited about it?
Yes.
So Marianne, tell everybody where they can find you.
Okay, so my YouTube channel is just Marianne Bird, and then I have a website, helloteachermarianne.com. You can email me at helloteachermarianne@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at Teacher Marianne or Online Teacher Marianne. You can search either way. You can find me on Instagram at Hello Teacher Marianne. So any of those places, I'm around.
And I'm going to link those below. Marianne will get this too, so we'll be able to post it on her Facebook, so she'll be able to share it too. And if you are watching this and you don't have a referring teacher, either Marianne or myself would be more than happy to help you through the process. Marianne's got some great videos that she's put out on YouTube that are very helpful in the process too. But I would suggest using a referring teacher, because it is going to be able to answer some questions that you may have, and just make sure you get through the process hopefully the first time around. But anyway, we will hit the bell. As someone said a minute ago, they said they're going to hit the bell. That way, when Marianne and I go live next time with actually sharing you our class experiences, we can share, it's a learning curve. We can share the things we've learned. Things we did and do as I say, not as I do kind of things in the next one. So I hope that you guys will come and join us again. And thank you for being supportive of us in our first.
Yes. Thank you. This was fun. Thank you, Paige.
No, thank you, Marianne. And I will see you. So do you have any closing remarks?
I just would say, I think the biggest thing is be yourself. This is a platform where you do not have to try to be like any other teacher. They are asking you to be authentic. And wow, that is just a breath of fresh air, I believe. So I love it, and I want to encourage everybody, bring to the table who you are and the gifts that you have, and don't try to be like the other teachers you see on the platform.
I think that's what you said. The gifts that you said is so important. We were all given unique gifts, and this is a platform where we can share those gifts to people all over the world. I mean, that's the glory of it.
Yes.
I could decide that I wanted to teach a punctuation class and advertise it to a few people in my neighborhood, but not to the whole world, like Outschool is allowing us to do. So, okay, I hope this excited everybody and answered some questions for you, but have a great day. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you, Paige.
All
See you
right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.